Good morning. I'm Jay Lenora Bressler, and welcome to the June 11th, 2019 edition of the Bible Delight in the Details. As we've been talking for the past several sessions, the Bible provides us with kind of a disc or true colors or Myers-Briggs assessment of our personalities, underlining the fact that God uses the diversity of people, not just the way we look different, but more importantly, our different strengths, our different personalities to build the kingdom of God. There is a place and a use for all of us. And when we understand what our strengths are, it allows us to optimize the usage of ourselves, as well as make us be careful because there are weaknesses. Excuse me. There are weaknesses in all of us on which we need to be guarded. Now, we were talking yesterday about Joseph. Joseph, one of the 12 boys born to Jacob. But interestingly, when Jacob was blessing all of the men as his death was nearing, Joseph did not want himself blessed. In fact, he brought his two sons who had been born to him through a Egyptian priestess, and he wanted them blessed. So they took his place, and that's why they're two tribes, Manasseh and Ephraim, they're called half tribes. They were smaller than the other tribes, but they together make up one tribe, the tribe that would have been the tribe of Joseph. Now, why did he do this? Well, there are a couple very fascinating things. As we talked about yesterday, the name Joseph actually means he, meaning God, will add. And I think that the fact that we have Egyptian born, we do not have purebred, if you will, Jews being brought into this family, acknowledged as full family members, is indicative that the kingdom of God is not just for the Jewish people, it's for all people of all nationalities, all races, etc. And in that way, Joseph, in marrying an Egyptian and bringing forth sons who were of mixed race, is very indicative of what God does. God does add. He adds to the kingdom. He's always bringing in people who are different, diverse. He created that diversity, and he loves that, and he's bringing them in to add to the kingdom of God and the family of God. So Joseph is living up to his name. And now, the two names, the two sons, were Manasseh and Ephraim. Manasseh actually means to forget. And Joseph named him this, praising God that he had allowed him to forget the evil and the injustice that he had been the victim of, and was allowed to go on with a new life in Egypt. And so Manasseh means to forget, but it's not a bad forgetting. It has the connotation of forgetting the bad things so that you can move forward. It's a wonderful type of forgetting, of not dwelling in the past, dwelling in I'm a victim, and I'm going to be down my whole life. No, it's the ability to move forward. Now then, when he had Ephraim, he named Ephraim, meaning to prosper, saying that I have been allowed to forget and move forward and prosper. Now, interestingly, the symbol for Manasseh is a palm tree. The symbol for Ephraim is a double cluster of grapes, representing the fullness and bounty. What do we know about people who are either Manasseh or Ephraim types? Well, both of them, because they come from Joseph, when they are immature in the Lord, they suffer from some of the things that possibly Joseph himself suffered from as a young man. They have a tendency to be very self-absorbed. Not so much selfish. I think we need to always make a distinction between that. There's a difference between someone who sees other people and just doesn't give a rip, just doesn't care about them, and someone who is so self-absorbed or self-focused that it's not that they are deliberately not caring about people. It just doesn't even register with them. And even the best of us can get in that at times. Even those of us that are very caring and usually very sensitive and observant to other people have times in our life, especially under great stress, when our world really seems to almost close down and we become very myopic and we only see how things are affecting us. Manassehs and Ephraim's have a tendency to do that more often than some of the other tribes or the other people. So they need to be careful of that. Also, kind of like Joseph might have been early in his life, they have a tendency to be a little bit rebellious if they're not getting their own way, a little bit insensitive, yes, a little pushy, a little bossy. However, when mature, just like we saw with Joseph, they can be the most forgiving of other people, the most sensitive to other people, very caring, very loving, very supportive. One thing that's great about particularly Manasseh's is that they can stand alone. And that's really the symbol, the palm tree. They can stand by themselves. Sometimes you see palm trees together in an oasis. Sometimes you see a palm tree just by its lonesome out there. It is very self-sufficient when mature in the Lord. Now that could be a bad thing if you thought you were self-sufficient just on your own. You're all that in a bag of chips, right? And not recognizing that, no, it's because of God that if I have to stand alone, I'm not actually alone, I have God. But it is also a great strength. They don't have to have the security of followers and other people to do what's right. Probably the most famous Manassehite in the Bible is Gideon. Ephraim's, when they are mature, they are just a joy to be around. They're very conscientious of other people. They're great comrades at arms, so to speak. They can be very strong for the Lord, but they also do it with, joining people together. And we see that that's a reflection of how Joseph dealt with his brothers at the end of his life when he had forgiven them and just, they were all together as one happy family. That's the Ephraim type coming out. Famous Ephraims are Joshua and Samuel. Join me tomorrow as we look at the last of the tribes and we summarize and end this, what I hope has been a wonderful series for you as we learn about diversity in the family of God. I'm J. Lenore Bressler. Visit me on the next edition of the Bible. Delight in the details. Have a great day.